Hey y'all, this is Jeff with Atlantic Arcade Sales and Service Repair, and I'm up here at Cherry Grove. Going to welcome you to Across the Aisle. What this is going to be is it's an instructional video on how to play the games that are here. It's going to be pretty simple, pretty rudimentary, but very essential to know how to play. These games are not on when you arrive. There's a power switch here for the game. The power for the pinball, this thing should only be turned on and off, is located right here. We don't want to be pulling the plugs out of the wall. We want to turn them off by switch. So we're going to start first with the Star Wars Comic Pro. This is very simple to play. Basically, you can play 1 to 4 players. You can choose whether you want to be Luke Skywalker, R2-D2, Princess Leia, or Han Solo. How you determine how many players is you're going to hit this green button on the front. The amount of times you hit it is how many players are going to play. So that's 1,
Player 2,
2,
Player
3, and 4. Now for each player, you can take this right flipper
R2-D2,
and you can choose who you'd like to be as you play.
Luke Skywalker,
And this will give you different paths through the game. Once your ball's loaded here, you can either pull this back to hit it, or you can hit your action button. Action button does all sort of things. If your ball goes in quickly, it'll be saved. And we're gonna let the ball kind of go down for this purpose of this tutorial.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
And so this ball now pop out. Player 2 can now decide by hitting the left flipper
R2-D2, Captain Solo,
who you want to be. You can pull the plunger, or you can hit action button, will knock the ball out. That's pretty much it, y'all. There's a lot of stuff to learn on this machine. For a full tutorial, you can go to YouTube, pull up several ones to show you all the different cool things that this game does. Once again, we're done playing. We're finished. There's a switch there. And that's also how we turn it on if it's not on when you arrive. We want to always use that switch and not pull the plug out of the wall. Over here with your Supercade, this is the same way if you arrive. It's not on, you turn it on here. When you're done playing for the evening or the night, ready to retire, you turn it off there as well. Once this comes up, it's either going to be in a demonstration, a game, or a menu. I'm going to walk you through all instances. So you're here, you would like to try to play some games. So you can take anything really, a joystick, a button, or anything. So now here we are in the system selection menu. All I did was touch the joystick to get its attention. Here we're in a menu. You travel this game through the menus, and there's several great menus to choose from. You have Arcade Classics, Atari 2600, Atari 7800, ColecoVision, Sega Master System, Sega Mega Drive, Sega 32X, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PC Engine, and PlayStation, along with Vectrex. You also have an all game menu. If you're not sure what console your game's in or what type of platform it's in, you can hit all games, and all 5,025 games will be in this menu. Any menu you want to enter, all I was doing to do that, I was just moving the joystick up or down. That's all I was doing. Once we decide, hey, we want to go into all game menu, whichever menu it is, we're going to hit player 1. Once we do that, now we're in the all game menu. You can travel through this menu by going 1 game at a time by hitting the joystick up or down. You can go 1 page at a time, which will do every one of these names on the title page by just punching it left or right. You can go through the titles of the games alphabetically by pushing the joystick up or pushing the joystick down. If you want to go a little faster, because it is a lot of games, you hold it to the left or you hold it to the right. Anytime you're wanting to play any game, you're going to load that up by hitting player 1. It's going to load up. There is a difference between arcade games and console games. Arcade games, we do have to credit. We're going to push this button right here to credit it. So you can tell, I'm going to go back to all system menu. You can tell which ones are arcade and consoles by what's on the screen. So this is arcade. So we just hit our credit button. And it just credits up, and then we choose player 1 or player 2, whichever one we want to do. And away we go. At any time we want to leave a game, we want to get out of a game, go try something else, we're going to hold down player 1 until we'll see the screen stop, we'll hear the volume stop, and then we let up. And there you go. You're right back here in this menu. One way to tell if you've got an arcade game or console game is by what's here. If you see this, like the picture, that's the arcade game. That's an arcade game. So that's a Super Nintendo game. So what we're listing, that's a Sega Mega Drive game. So it tells you what system you're in. Now we're going to get out of this menu. To get out of this menu and get back, as long as you're in a menu, you can travel around. So we're in the all game menu. We're going to hit this top yellow button. And this is now going to take us back to the system selection, where we can now simply scroll down, hit Arcade Classics. You'll see the arcade games pop up. We hit player 1 to enter all the arcade classics. Man, these are some of the just best arcade games you're going to find anywhere on any platform. And there's so many different ones. So same process. You just use the joystick up, down, or left or right to go through and find your games. It's the same process. If I want to go quick, I hold it to the left, I hold it to the right. So, very fun. There's just regular Space Invaders. Anytime you're ready to load a game, so you want to play Space Invaders, we're going to hit player 1. That's going to load the game. And then, with this being an arcade game, we are going to have to credit it. So, we hit our credit button. We decide when player 1 or player 2. And away we go. Now, what you have from this control panel, you have two 8-way joysticks, player 1 and player 2, and you have a 4-way joystick. So this is player 1 and player 2 4-way. This will be for your Pac-Mans, your Donkey Kongs, your Popeyes. These on the left and right, player 1, player 2, these are going to be for your fighting games. And I'm going to put a little few things here to help folks understand what we got here before I leave, to make sure you've got that. Once again, in your go-to buttons, typically, if you're playing a game with a few buttons, your go-to button is going to be your red button to shoot or jump. That's typically going to be your go-to. Once again, this is player 1, 8-way, player 2, 8-way. This is player 1 and 2, 4-way, and your trackball. Once again, we want to leave this game. We're going to hold down the player 1 button until you see it stop. We're going to let up, and now we can just go back to scrolling around. Find whatever it is we desire, what we're looking for. You can come across all of it pretty quick. 2-player games. Gonna walk through that real quick. So we're gonna load Street Fighter 3. So I hit player 1, it's now loading. So 2-player games, we're gonna credit those obviously more than one time, and then we're gonna enter player 1 and player 2 once we get things up. So now the game's coming up. We will then credit multiple credits. You see them going up. I'm just hitting our yellow credit button. Now I'm going to player 1. There's player 1. Now we're going to enter player 2. There's player 2. So you now have this player going, and you now have this player going. It's really that simple to get in, and then these will be your punches and kicks, similar to the game. Once again, to get out, we're going to hold down player 1. This will exit that particular game, put us back in the Arcade Classic menu now. We want to get back to the overall menu to play a console game. We're now going to go back, hit our top yellow button, and now we're right back in the system selection menu where we just scroll down. Do we want to play Atari, ColecoVision? Yeah, I'm just using the joystick. We get the Super Nintendo. We load Super Nintendo by hitting player 1, and now here we are. You literally almost have the whole catalog. These are all Super Nintendo games. So you just scroll through, till you find whatever it is that you're looking for. Everyone knows my go-to because you see me do it a million times. Let's see here. Oh wait, must be I'm on the wrong system. But anyway, so anything you want to play, you're going to hit player 1. I was always going to my go-to Mike Tyson, which is on Nintendo, not Super Nintendo. So I love to play Mike Tyson Punch-Out. So with the console games, you have to wait for them to come up. Sometimes they have an intro, different things. We don't have to credit them because this is not an arcade's console. So typically, you just hit player 1, and it goes right through and starts your game. Sometimes it's player 1 or the red button. And once again, some of these games, the older ones like this, they do a little better with the 4-way joystick. And that's why it's there. Some games are better 8-way, some games are better 4-way. So we can get the cake. So anytime we want to get out of this, I'm gonna sit here and play. So anytime we want to get at this, we're gonna go hold down player 1. You'll hear everything stop. Now you're back at the menu. You can now go through Super Nintendo, or we can now, because we're in a menu, we can hit this top yellow button. And now we can go through all the menus. So y'all, this is gonna be on a YouTube, and we're gonna have a link here if you have any trouble playing your games. You can get a hold of the rental company. If you have a problem, if you come and you don't see the games working properly, you can get a hold of them, and also give me a call at Atlantic Arcade Sales, 843-450-0171. I want you to make sure you remember your power supplies are added back. If you see any issues with this game, whether it's in a funny menu or it's froze up, it's basically a computer-based game. All you have to do is turn it off and turn it back on. It resets. And once again, with your Comic Pro, this is where your power supply is. Y'all, thank you. I hope you enjoy your stay here. And to get your game on a home, call 843-450-0171.